After months of hiding, Kamala Harris finally sat down for an interview with CNN alongside her emotional support animal, Tim Walz.
He suggested that you happened to turn black recently for political purposes, questioning a core part of your identity. Any
Same old tired playbook. Next question, please.
That's it?
That's it.
What does she mean, the same old tired playbook? As when has a candidate's race ever been questioned? Because if I'm not mistaken, Kamala's the first to campaign on identifying as a chameleon. Being Asian in California but black in Atlanta isn't what CNN would consider Trump's racial attack. These are facts that actually happened that they want to frame as racist for his crime of noticing. As even MSNBC is discovering, Kamala's chameleon campaign is failing.
I just don't think that Kamala Harris has anything vested in the air finger quote black or Hispanic experience in so much as it would be identified by anybody that lives in those communities.
You're saying you don't think that she can help black or brown people?
No, I mean, going to Howard don't make you black.
Do you feel some kinship towards her as a mixed person?
Not personally. I find a lot of her trajectory to not be my brand of woman or leader. We've got 3 major international crises going on and someone applying to be commander-in-chief. As a woman, I want to see you do more than, appeal to giggling and having a girl moment on the stage.
It's almost like voters want the best person for the job, not the person that looks most similar to their skin. Because unfortunately for the Democrats, when Americans can't afford food, the racial pandering is no longer enough.
Right now, many Americans are struggling. There's a crisis of affordability. One of your campaign themes is we're not going back. But I wonder what you say to voters who do want to go back when it comes to the economy specifically, because their groceries were less expensive, housing was more affordable when Donald Trump was president.
When we came in, our highest priority was to do what we could to rescue America. And today, we know that we have inflation at under 3%. A lot of our policies have led to the reality that America recovered faster than any wealthy nation around the world. But you are right. Prices, in particular for groceries, are still too high. The American people know it, I know it.
So first off, nobody actually believes their official 3% inflation numbers, as just like their jobs figures, they release bogus unemployment numbers that still signal recession, and months later they have to say, we actually overestimated jobs by 1 million. But for Kamala to admit the cost of food is too high, but also look at what we did to lower inflation, is what I call the Democrats' duality of lies. Bidenomics is working, but vote for me to fix those Bidenomics. The border is secure, but vote for me to fix that same border. For a bunch of career politicians of the party that's run the White House for 12 of the last 16 years, they seem to blame a lot of their failures on Donald Trump, the one guy that was only in office for 4 years, not before, not after. And despite the actual number of border crossings during Trump's presidency, they still blame Trump for their issues.
As vice president, you were tasked with addressing the root causes of migration in southern countries and
Northern part of Central America.
The northern part of
And real quick, you're watching them rewrite history in real time. Biden had her handle the Northern Triangle, but also Mexico.
I've asked her, the VP, today, because she's the most qualified person to do it, to lead our efforts with Mexico and the Northern Triangle.
And here Kamala is explicitly accepting the job to handle Mexico's border, and Congress officially documenting Kamala as Biden's border czar, which now CNN denies.
Kamala Harris was not the border czar. She was appointed to deal with the Northern Triangle. But
And here Kamala is also trying to memory hole her catastrophic failure as the border czar.
Northern part of Central America.
the northern part
A bill was crafted, which we supported, which I support. And Donald Trump got word of this bill that would have contributed to securing our border, and because he believes that it would not have helped him politically, he told his folks in Congress, don't put it forward. He killed the bill. A border security bill that would have put 1,500 more agents on the border.
Yes, because Donald Trump told people to surge the border when Biden got in the White House. Donald Trump put in that garbage Trojan horse bill that ensured millions of migrants would be allowed in every year. Because let's be clear, it may have been labeled a border security bill, but those extra agents weren't going to block the crossings, they were there to facilitate more. Just like the Inflation Reduction Bill wasn't reducing inflation, it was introducing climate communism, which Kamala, in her infinite word salad, accidentally admits.
I have always believed, and I have worked on it, that the climate crisis is real, that it is an urgent matter to which we should apply metrics that include holding ourselves to deadlines around time. We did that with the Inflation Reduction Act.
And I believe she sees this as a victory. We couldn't pass the Green New Deal because the voters didn't want it, so we just disguised it as something they did want and did it anyways. So the same way Kamala wants wide open borders that American voters don't want, they disguised it as a border security bill, and when that failed, it's not because the garbage they put in the bill, they blamed it on the boogeyman that is Trump. As Kamala openly admits, she sees no problem with lying to the American people.
You insisted that President Biden is extraordinarily strong. Given where we are now, do you have any regrets about what you told the American people?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yes, worsening wars in the Middle East and Eastern Europe are occurring simultaneously, and our president is out sleeping by the sea, hasn't made a full speech in weeks, but this is the man Kamala says is extraordinarily strong. It's insane how badly this carefully curated interview on CNN went, as this was the optimal situation to make Kamala look competent, but instead reminded the American people how badly their racial pandering, economy, and border security is going, then on top of that gave us almost a highlight reel of their top lies for the last 4 years. Because when you actually look into how CNN portrayed this propaganda they called an interview, a preview on the interview says live when it's not going to air until 9 p.m. But as the interview actually aired, they still labeled it live, which is a lie. And it was later reported that the interview was actually 41 minutes long, but had to be cut down to 18 minutes, losing over half the footage. If these were the highlights of the interview, how bad were the parts they had to cut out, compared to Trump's collective 5 hours of long-form interviews that received billions of views? Meanwhile, CNN still struggles to even get Decoy voice levels of viewership. And what's even worse is that 18 minutes wasn't just a series of softball questions from CNN that she likely knew beforehand, it was also featuring her VP pick, Tim Walz, who has basically become a caricature of a stupid sitcom dad.
The idea that you said that you were in war. Did you misspeak as the campaign has said?
Yeah, I said we were talking about, in this case, this was after school, the ideas of carrying these weapons of war. And my wife, the English teacher, told me my grammar's not always correct. But again, if it's not this, it's an attack on my children for showing love for me, or it's an attack on my dog.
That's gotta be the worst excuse for committing stolen valor I've ever heard, as he's been openly lying about his military career to propel his political career for 17 years now. And he blames poor grammar, then deflects it to his kids and dog. I've literally never heard any criticisms of him other than his stolen valor, DUI, lies about coaching, and how horribly he handled the lockdowns and riots as governor. These are all valid concerns when thinking about promoting him to the second highest level in government, and his response is, "Sometimes me use wrong word when committing misdemeanor stolen valor, so leave my kids out of this." And again, it just goes to show how bad both of these candidates are for president, as they look terrible even on basically state-sponsored media, as their CNN interview looked nothing like when Dana bashed JD Vance for half an hour.
You're saying Tim Walz doesn't have affection for his wife? I don't even understand that. Governor Walz served 24 years.
Sure.
He even stayed after he could have retired. Do you honor his service? Not allowing her to end that pregnancy, fatal, and could potentially hurt her, offended that you don't think she has a stake in the future of the country because she doesn't have children. I can't believe I have to ask you this, but I do, because Donald Trump has been attacking Kamala Harris's racial identity. There aren't media lies.
So no wonder Democrats like RFK are leaving the party for Trump, as another Democrat presidential candidate, Tulsi Gabbard, has also joined Trump's campaign.
2 former Democratic presidential candidates have endorsed Donald J. Trump to be president of the United States.
Meanwhile, all the Democrats are getting is Republican staffers from Bush, McCain, and Romney to endorse Kamala. And if anything, that just makes me want to vote for Trump more, because like many Trump voters, we're not traditional conservatives. We actually despise most of what the Republican Party stands for, and if one guy's gaining the support of America First Democrats while simultaneously losing support from the establishment Republicans, this just makes me want to vote for him more, and encourage you, if you're an American citizen, to go to vote.gov to make sure you're registered to vote. Then share this video with someone that also should know what's really going on with the con that is Kamala's campaign. And if you appreciate my concise, lighthearted commentary on the tragic status that is today's reality, hopefully I've earned your subscription, then go check out the video on how the mainstream media tried to attack Trump to his face, but accidentally ended up proving him right.